and welcome to the Comic Conspiracy episode 168 for the week of July 21st, 2014. I'm Ryan Higgins. You can probably hear the hum of our loud-ass, almost breaking computer behind me. Hopefully you can't. Hopefully it's not too annoying if you do. And if you hear weird echoing or weird beeping, things are afoot here at the comic store, and I don't know what's going on. So hopefully this recording comes out okay. If it doesn't,
who are you going to call?
And if you hear the weird beeping, and if it is Morse code, tell us what it's saying.
Yeah, there's some noises have been happening.
Still saying it's those hookers over there trying to get out of the room before it gets sold.
Okay, there have been some weird noises here, so we'll just go ahead and assume we're not being haunted.
Exactly.
I'm Ryan Higgins. Who is here with me this week?
Brock Sager.
Toby.
And Charlie.
And we have a special guest, Geekbox mega fan, all the way from across the pond, as they say. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cris Soctor.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well. How are you guys?
We're very good. You've been hanging out with me and Brock all day today.
Yeah, I know.
All day?
It was an experience.
And you came and hung out with Geekbox super hater Marshall yesterday here at the store, once again.
Yes, Marshall.
We love talking about the guy that's never on the podcast because he hates all of you. I got to keep that myth alive. But you are in San Francisco for a few weeks.
Yes, I am.
On vacation.
Yeah, it's been great so far. I hope to, not have peaked very early and just, seen everything there is to see. But that's impossible.
There's a lot.
And you already came down to the shop. I mean,
Yeah.
This
is already boring.
There's a lot to do in San Francisco. But you may try to swing by Geekbox this week or next week, and maybe a Comedy Button visit, or at least hanging out with those guys. So
I would very much love to. Yeah, sure.
You've got some stuff on your plate here. So
you're gonna blow everyone's mind back home.
Oh God!
Before we do anything, because we always have to talk about people on the podcast or Secret Origin and all that stuff.
Well, actually, before that Secret Origin, how did you even get to know the Geekbox crew? How did you hear of Ryan Scott and all those people?
This is a really, really long story. All right.
Throw the Secret Origin in there too.
Okay, sure. Back in 2007, one of my best friends, Zoli, took time to just explain to me, look, you're a nerd. You need to listen to podcasts. And he was like, all right, let me give you a handful. You listen to this and this and this. And I listened to the Game Spider briefings, the Geekbox, and then when I visited the site, I actually found, these guys have a comic book podcast. I'm into that. Let me listen to it.
Nice.
And that's when I started listening to you guys, and you were in the early 70s episodes.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Around then. So that's post what just you, Ryan, and Brock were doing.
You survived the horror. You skipped the horrible episodes.
No, but I went back to it. So yeah.
Real fan.
And you still listen.
Do you like those episodes?
Yeah, actually I did.
See, everyone liked those episodes.
What they say to be courteous, Brock.
No, it's absolutely true. I told this to Ryan and everybody, and I'm gonna tell it as many times again, because of your intense conversations about Jeff Johns' Green Lantern. You guys got me back into it.
Nice.
Oh, nice.
So,
and
yeah.
you're wearing a Green Lantern shirt.
Yeah, representing.
Absolutely.
So you told us a story here, which I want to retell here on the podcast. So when you came looking for the for a lot of people that visit California, they don't realize how far apart things are sometimes.
Oh my God.
Where sometimes people are like, oh yeah, Los Angeles and San Francisco, they're right next door to each other, right? Now it's not that bad. However, you were looking for the great city of Sunnydale, California, where we record this podcast in the Geekbox. However, you came across a heretofore unknown to at least myself and Brock and yourself, part of San Francisco called Sunnydale.
Wait, Sunnydale exists?
There's
a
real Sunnydale?
There's a small section of San Francisco called Sunnydale, and I'm going to gather
Buffy
that
and Angel there?
Well, I'm going to gather from what I see here that it is slightly more dangerous than the Sunnydale that Buffy and Angel. Do you have any? Do you want to expand on this story a little bit here? First,
yeah, sure. So basically, what I did, without any sort of directions, just a little hotel map that I got, right? I said I want to go to Ryan's comic store, right? I can't really fund these guys any sort of thank you or anything, so I'll just go to the store and buy some comics and tell them thanks for all the great work and many of episodes that you guys got. So I literally jumped on the train. Little did I know it was the wrong train, duh. Which landed me all the way into Sunnydale. And I get out and I literally stood there in awe for 5 seconds, and I realized I will get shot if I stay here for more than 10 minutes.
He's like, everything makes sense now.
So if you look up Sunnydale, I didn't look up anything bad. I just looked up Sunnydale, San Francisco. Here are some of the top searches on the first page of Google. This is an article from SF Gate on February 3rd, 2008. Life at the Bottom, San Francisco's Sunnydale project. Okay. KCBS cover story, The Dangers of Living in San Francisco's Sunnydale.
Family hellmouth after all.
Family shattered after mother-son die in Sunnydale fire. This are literally the top searches for Sunnydale.
Well, when you go to images, like the first 2 images are...
And the first 2 images are cops and police... cops
tape.
with
You
police
picked the right
caution
place
tape.
to visit.
Yeah, and these completely run down little houses.
Wow.
And, so you found like the worst part of San Francisco.
So it all goes up from there.
Yeah.
It actually did.
No, not really, because he made the mistake of calling a cab to come down here.
Oh.
It's fine. I'll just put that to miscellaneous uses.
Yeah.
Maybe once again not realizing how far away Sunnyvale is from San Francisco.
But
35 miles to be precise.
Yeah. Well, so you have a secret origin here. We want to hear about how you got into comic books, not the podcast, but comic books in general. And whatever backstory you want to tell of yourself. You live in London now, but
Yeah, well, okay, just to give everybody a little sense of perspective. I live in London now. I've been living there for over 13 years. But originally, I come from Romania, this little town called Timișoara, which is basically in Transylvania.
wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah,
So you're like Toby, like mixed European heritage.
yeah, extremely, yeah.
You part vampire?
I probably am, yes. Toby.
Yes.
So he's part vampire, ends up in Sunnydale. Like it all works out. Right?
All makes sense. No wonder. It just kind of drew you in. Hellmouth drew you to it. No,
Yeah.
like, oh, he's here. Come to us. Come to us.
Tell you what, I really wish I had my good old friend John Constantine there to help me though.
Yeah, there you go.
Exercise some demons while I was at it. But no. The story basically goes, my dad was a super nerd. He taught me everything. He brought me and my 2 brothers into everything. So essentially, video games, comic books, full in.
So in Romania, how is Western culture and comic books and video games? I guess video games are Eastern as well. But how are those portrayed there? I guess it'd be late 80s, early 90s for you. So what was like the scene like there at that time?
Well, in the late 90s, it's when I really got into the gist of things, right? And even back then, there was this perception, video games aren't good for you. Video games create you to be a human vegetable.
But are they all in English? Are they in
no.
German or what?
Everybody, most people have to realize that Romania is literally, you learn at least 3 different languages while you're in school.
Okay.
And in my case, growing up, I learned English before I actually learned to speak Romanian.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, I was very good of, knowing everything.
Okay.
Some parts I didn't understand, the bigger words and stuff.
We grew up here and we don't know words. We don't know how to talk properly, so it's fine. It's fine.
I don't care how bad my grammar are.
Yeah.
My grandma are. But yeah, essentially, my dad was the shovel, essentially, and he was kind of let me put this through your way. And the first actual comic book that I read was issue 49 of X-Men.
Mm-hmm. The rebooted X-Men stuff, or the old stuff.
Well,
the 90s X-Men.
The 90s.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely the 90s X-Men.
Well, you actually got American comics?
I think they were imported from England because my dad bought them from Germany and Hungary mostly, because in Romania we don't have a comic book store.
Oh, okay.
We don't even have a GameStop. We don't have anything like this.
No, when I grew up, it was like that. It was all the kiosks,
Yeah.
right? You bought all the comics at the kiosk.
We can't even buy that at the
Wow.
kiosk. Yeah, so
man.
literally, if you were a nerd, it's not the best place to kind of grow up in, right? But yeah, issue 49 of X-Men, and then my dad constantly shoved over to me mostly Marvel stuff. He wouldn't let me touch a lot of the DC stuff, mostly because they were too dark, too gritty. He didn't think I could handle it, but later on, he gave me to read, Hellblazer, stuff like that. So essentially, he was a big part of me.
You gotta fight those vampires.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. If you can't be one of them, you have to fight them.
Excellent.
So when you moved to London, did you really kind of expand out what you were getting? And Brock just pulled out X-Men 49 from our back issue bin. That seemed like the right issue?
Yes, it is.
Nice.
Yes, it is. Exactly. I remember this issue, my dad, literally came back home from, a 24-hour shift, and he just, stumbled through the door and pulled out of his bag, this issue that, it's so imprinted in my mind.
Sweet. Nice.
Yeah, it's just it's insane. This is insane. Can I buy this off of you?
No, but you can have it. Merry Christmas.
No, I will buy it. Please let me buy
already
it.
bought enough. Take it.
All
We have probably 30 more in the back.
Wow, thank you.
But
we will once I actually go through the X-Men backstock.
But so growing up in London, is that when you kind of expanded out comics, games?
Yes, most likely. Yeah, that's when I kind of head deep, didn't look back on it. Ever since, been a huge, massive geek.
Cool.
Been buying tons of stuff.
Well, it's like there's no candy store around, and the fat kid gets a little candy, and then he goes and he finds a candy store. He's like,
So Toby obviously we talked a lot about the distribution in England or in mainland Europe. So I know England deals with Diamond UK, which basically they normally get their books the same time. I don't know how recent this is. Maybe a decade ago they were a little bit behind. I think they were maybe a week behind. But I feel in recent years I think they get them at the same time now. But I know earlier you were telling me that especially trade paperbacks, you guys get pretty late.
Yeah, that's as I told you before, mostly the indie stuff now, Diamond, IDW, stuff like that. They're kind of a week behind it.
Okay.
It's not really bad. It's okay.
Yeah.
But most of the times I listen to your podcast, right?
Yeah.
And you guys are like, oh, this trade is out. This is out. And I go down to my local comic book shop and I said, look, I want to make a down payment for this. Can I put it in? And they're like, we didn't even know if this is coming out.
Oh,
It's literally 2-3 weeks behind. It depends. Maybe, as I said to you, Forbidden Planet, which is kind of the mainstream store, maybe they get it on time.
Yeah.
But I stopped buying stuff there mostly because of the exuberant expenses. Just I can't afford.
Yeah. They're very expensive over there. Comparatively.
Yeah.
So if a comic here is $4 US, what are they there?
Well, they do put that pricing into UK money. So if it's $3.99, right?
Yeah.
It will be £2.50.
Okay.
But
they charge an equivalent
Which is about
then?
$5. Yeah.
Yeah, which is an equivalent. Again, if I would put the money
Right.
now, especially since the rate for the dollar has gone up now.
Yeah. Because I know
they're still kind of making profit on it.
I know in Canada, when I went there, a lot of the comics were priced basically up $1 or 50 cents or 75 cents or $1 or so from the US price, just because it's the Canadian dollar was at the point when I went, it wasn't as high. I think in recent years it's stabilized a little bit more. So, but yeah, I'm curious.
Remember when they used to have Canada's price on the cover?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, they took that off a long time ago. They're like, you guys figure it out. We're not going to. Well, the problem
Well,
is.
every once in a while, it made me feel like I was getting a good deal because
Yeah.
I'd look at the wrong price.
The problem is it would change so frequently that by the time the comics would get there, the price wouldn't be accurate anymore. So they're like, don't even print it because it's not accurate. You're not because it would fluctuate so rapidly. So
that's why that's what people use currency exchange apps for.
Yeah.
When they go to their local comic book store, and go, how much is this in my currency?
So what are you reading these days? Are you getting a lot of single issues? You doing mostly trades, digital? What's your poison?
Okay, digital, I can't do it. My youngest brother, is extremely head deep into it. Right, he's gotten on this bandwagon, just oh, I'm on my iPad, I can read it on my pad while I go to work. It's fine for him, but I prefer paper, so I read mostly a lot of trades. Every now and then, if I go into a shop, right, and I see an indie comic that is just issue 1 or 2, I tend to kind of pick it up, flick through the first 2 pages. If I like it, I'll probably buy it and see where it goes before I completely. I usually give like 4 or 6 issues before I drop the book, if necessarily. But yeah, so far a lot of the stuff, the indie stuff that I bought, pretty useful. I haven't dropped one since a long while, actually. I can't even remember the last issue.
It's like Image, Dark Horse, IDW stuff, or like real small press, kind of
everything,
a little bit of everything.
Everything,
Cool.
like Walking Dead. I started with Walking Dead probably in its first issues as well.
Yeah.
So I kept on with that up until issue 20, if I believe, or around the 20s, and then I stopped, and now I only buy the trades for it.
Right.
Yeah. So I keep that constantly going.
So what's your favorite book at the moment?
Wow. That's really something.
Okay, do a top 5. Geez. Make it easier on the guy.
Okay.
All right.
Top 20.
It doesn't have to be the top.
Do it
book.
like Bryce.
Give a book you like. Give a book.
All right. No.
Give a Bryce list.
I will probably say my favorite number 1 book is Swamp Thing.
Wow.
Nice.
The new stuff.
Good.
Yeah. It's really good book. It's
Yeah.
a really, really solid
But the
good
current or
book.
the classic?
I like both.
Okay.
But the current one, like, if we're talking about stuff that I'm currently following,
Yeah.
then that has to be, like, my number 1 pick
Wow.
every single time. Like,
Very nice.
whenever the trade comes out, like, day 1, instant buy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah, I have a couple customers that were not super happy when Snyder left and dropped the book, and have all come back and been like, "Wait, it actually got way better over the last couple arcs." So
Yeah.
Charles
Gotten
Soule is
very,
doing-
very
doing
interesting.
a great job on that book.
Another good one that I also loved when, the new 52 came out was Animal Man.
Yeah.
Like, that and Swamp Thing just, like, had to buy both of them.
Well,
same
yeah,
time.
that got so rooted together towards sort of like the end of that run, especially.
Rot
that-
World.
now it sounds
Yeah.
like a vacuum cleaner is
It
going
is.
off.
Yeah,
I think it's a leaf blower.
As a leaf blower,
Somebody
man.
blowing leaves or something.
So if you even hear this podcast, let us know how it sounds.
Now, do you guys buy comics over there weekly like we do? Like
yeah.
over here is kind of like virtual Wednesday. Everybody, all the regulars come together. We kind of hang out. It's almost like a pub.
I really wish I had, like, a strong, like, community
Yeah.
like you guys do,
Yeah.
obviously. But, you guys are probably one of the rare exceptions that this happens to. Most of the places that I deal with, like, I go in, I try to be friendly, and they kind of, like, scurvy
Yeah.
you down to the side.
There's a lot of
you're-
that here too.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, cool. We're gonna go on. Feel free to jump in, comments whenever. We got a handful of stuff to talk about here.
Sure.
Well, we are pre-Comic-Con, and you were even talking about heading down to the city. Now, I know you're probably not going to make it, but again, anyone that wants to go to San Diego, even though tickets are long sold out for Comic-Con, you don't have to go to Comic-Con to go to Comic-Con.
There's so much. Actually, everything I'm excited about this year is not even in the
'cause-
convention center.
So you're like, damn it, why'd I pay for tickets?
Well, Toby, you sent me.
Well,
You sent me a whole bunch of stuff. There was an Assassin's Creed.
like, oh my god,
Like
I'm so
obstacle
excited
course.
about that.
Yeah.
So I honestly, at first I was like, yeah, some of my friends are not going this year. Charlie's not going to be there. My partner in crime, Nate, is not coming with me for once. He has just got a newborn, so congrats to him. But a lot of my usual suspects are not going. Like Omar is not going to be found in the middle of the night stumbling around. So a lot of my usual suspects are around, and some of the Doctor Who panel is not going to be there this year.
I know I picked the right year
Yeah,
to
you
miss.
picked the perfect year. A lot of things I'm like, you know what? I'll just go. I'm gonna go through the strides, and maybe have a chill Comic-Con for once, which I always wanted. I didn't want to go fight for things, and then Ubisoft announces the Assassin's Creed, which I don't even play the game. All right, I'll put it out there right now.
The Walking Dead thing got you this bug, didn't it?
No, anything like that is getting me this bug. 2 years ago, The Walking Dead did the obstacle course.
Well, the last 2 years. They
Yeah,
did it last
yeah, you did it 2 years now in a row, yeah, and I loved it. And when Ubisoft announced the Assassin's Creed experience, I'm like, yes. I'm very much into that.
Now, it'd be awesome if they just stab you in the back at the end of it.
They might.
Just
It's basically this crazy parkour course, like that's Ninja Warrior-esque thing that you get to do, and I'm like, yes.
tell you what, if it was the Far Cry experience, I would have maybe.
There is a Borderlands. There's a Borderlands laser tag on top of Petco Park, so to mimic the roof, the moon base, basically.
Now you're bummed, Charlie, that you're not going.
Yeah.
That one got me a little bit.
Yeah, they're doing that. So Assassin's Creed, Borderlands laser tag on top of Petco Park. Probably do the zombie thing again, but this is my third time in a row if I'm gonna do it. So it's kind of lower in the list now. Last year I missed out on the Funhouse. I talked about it. Where my friends made it through that, and I missed out on it. They're bringing it back, so I'm not gonna miss it out this time. So a lot of my priorities are very much outside of Comic-Con this year.
Even going to get to the convention this year?
I don't know. All the fun stuff for me is outside right now. So all the important stuff that I missed out on is all outside.
So I talked to Lane about my itty bitty Hellboy hardcover.
Yeah, probably, but eventually I'll still make it in. But yeah,
that's great. Yeah, I mean, there's every time when I see stuff being announced, it's not at the convention this year.
Yeah.
It feels like there's so much stuff outside of it. So if you hear this on Monday or Tuesday, you can still make it there for Wednesday. But there's going to be DC last week we talked about a lot of their big announcements that they have coming up. And I wonder if they kind of knew what Marvel had planned, because this week was all Marvel. There was a ton of announcements from Marvel this week, pre-Comic-Con. And this tends to happen the last few years where there's very little, if any, comic announcements at Comic-Con. But there was quite a few big ones pre-Comic-Con here, so we'll hit these ones up here. And then obviously next week we'll have a ton to talk about post-Comic-Con. The big one started off, and obviously had a ton of talk over the weekend and everything, is Marvel is debuting a new female Thor in Thor #1 in October from Jason Aaron and Russell Dodderman. I don't know, but great art. This is one of those times where there was some crazy people reacting to this. And I feel like the reaction is always from people who have probably never read a comic book in their entire life, because not that a female Thor can't be a good book or compelling or run for a long time. The fact that anyone that thinks any of this stuff is permanent is totally insane, because this is what happens every single time anything like this ever happens.
Guess what? Thor was a frog once.
Yeah. I know. Thor was a horse once.
And it's alien head horse.
And it's funny because it's not... Thor's not changing, and you brought up the point that it's his name.
Well, one of the funny points with this is that they've said many times that this is not Thor Girl or Lady Thor or something. This is Thor.
Thorina.
Now, unless this is Thor coming from an alternate dimension or Thor joins Tumblr, this isn't Thor, because Thor is his name. It's not like Captain America. Thor is actually his name. So this could be, as a few people have pointed out, Thor Odin's daughter. If he's Thor Odin's son, so maybe Thor has a twin sister named Thor.
It's He-Man and
Loki
She-Ra.
was a female for a while too. So
right. But Thor is going to be in the comic.
Yeah, but
just not as
Thor's going to be in the comic with Thor,
right? Not
and
with the
we're going to
hammer.
have to keep track of who. Wait,
so. One point
the rumor has it's the sister, right?
Well, in Original
but
Sin,
Angela's
Thor mentioned
the sister.
Huh?
Yeah, Angela's the sister.
Wait, what?
Yeah, now there's a thing that's...
Hold on.
Wait.
I'm completely all right now.
That's the whole point of the Thor
Does it
Loki
spawn Angela?
original Sin book is they reveal that Angela is the sister who was supposedly killed and taken to the angelic realm at one point.
But this happened in Spawn or in Marvel?
Okay. Well, I missed that book, so
but
I guess
the whole...
this is someone else. I guess maybe he has another sister.
Huh.
Well, either way,
the best thing I saw on the internet on this was this is Disney's way of bringing a Marvel princess into the universe.
Yeah. So, we've talked at length. We talked about Batgirl last time. To me, this feels fine. This is a story. The talk for Marvel initially was, oh no, this is Thor. This is the Marvel Universe Thor going forward. The next day when Jason Aaron had an interview, he mentioned more than one time story arc, limited
here's,
like that time when they said we killed Captain America. He's not a decoy. He's really dead. We're never bringing him back.
Of course,
he's dead.
Of course. So people that get bent out of shape over this stuff, to me, it's like whatever. Okay, well, if you blink, Tom Brevoort, one of Marvel's head editors, was taking $100 bets that Thor and other characters would not be their original versions by the time Avengers 2 came out, but I guarantee you they'll be their original versions by the time Avengers 3 comes out. So I don't think we have to worry about that. Or their new solo film. So I don't think we have anything to worry about here.
So are we looking like at a 12-issue run?
I think they could get away with this for a couple of years. Superior Spider-Man was, I think, 14 months. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do something similar.
Yeah, no, Bucky Captain America ran for like a couple of years.
Yeah,
no?
Bucky Cap was probably 2 years. So two and a half maybe. So again, this is beyond the first time this has happened.
Yeah, it was when the article came out, I was like, not knowing the history so well, I was like, wait, wasn't this done before? There's Thor Girl and there's the other girl.
Well, there have been multiple female Thors.
Yeah, Valkyrie.
Yeah, Valkyrie.
There's Valkyrie and there's...
Right, Valkyrie, and then there's Thor Girl and She-Thor. I was like, whatever. I was like, I thought this was all been done before. I didn't realize that they didn't count, right?
Well, of course, there was a Thor Corps where there were 5 Thors running around in the past, right?
But I was kind of struck, whatever. To me, it was like, hey, if it's for story reasons, why not? Right? Then it's all good.
Sure.
But now that Marvel's announcing all this other stuff, I feel that maybe this is not so story-driven.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah.
So
I guess my thought on all this kind of stuff is, yes, if the story's great, I'll read it, but in general, it just comes off as a gimmick, another way to boost sales temporarily.
And it might have been the new Thor Girl is the story-given one, and then some head honcho at Marvel goes, well, if we're doing this, we're doing all this other crap too.
Yeah.
Well, they said that, the Jason Aaron had for a while wanted to have another person take the hammer, and this is their way of going about it. But, no, some of this comes out editorially, some of this is up to the creator. But, if the creator said, hey, I want to kill a major character, I want to permanently change another character, there's more going on than just their whim for the day. This has to go through marketing. This has to go through PR. This has to go through... now, especially as part of Disney, there's so many hoops this has to go through.
It has to get announced on The View.
Right.
That was bullshit.
Well, they're going to go through and they're going to make sure marketing has all the stuff ready for all the new action figures
I hate all those
and the new
announcements
toys.
on these TV channels and whatever. It's bullshit.
And marketing has to contact Target because there's going to be a new line of Thor Girl
princess outfits.
Right. This is the way
princess armor.
This is
right?
the way comics are going to work going forward. You can't just be like, "Hey, guess what? Let's do something like Age of Apocalypse because that sounds kind of cool." This is all very well thought out. Well, and we'll get to
well thought out.
It really confused newly imported European guys that started picking up Gambit in the externals. What happened?
Well, let's get to a couple more things, and then we'll get to the big one, which is where I think we all see how this is going to go. The other big announcement, one of the other big announcements, was that Captain America will be stepping down as Captain America.
Again?
I mean, Steve Rogers.
Steve Rogers.
Stepping down as Captain America.
Right, and he will be replaced by Sam Wilson, also known as the Falcon.
So is Captain America going to fly?
No, Captain America is a really old man now. And will be, because he lost the super soldier serum powers.
Again?
Sure, yeah. It's happened probably 12 times by now. So Falcon is taking over for a while. He has no powers, as it were, but he does fly. So he's going to be flying Captain America.
Why not? At least then he's still kind of Falcon.
Yeah.
Because I would think it'd be pretty lame if he goes, I'll be Captain America, but my flying abilities, so that I gave that up so I could be more accurate Captain America. Fuck that.
No, this is cool. Rick Remender is the writer, and Stuart Immonen's moving over from All New X-Men, and he's going to take over. So the last Captain America series was abysmal.
Even I gave up on it.
Wow, that is saying a lot.
We collectively decided to not discuss the
I didn't even bother looking at that
the
one.
controversy of the last couple of issues of Captain America because it all blew over before we recorded. You can go do a Google search for Fire Rick Remender if you want to read up on that. However, Rick Remender
continuing. What would have been funnier is if it was fire him because he had Captain America sleep with a younger woman. That would have been awesome.
I'm not.
But isn't that every single woman ever?
Yeah, technically,
yeah.
There you go.
Technically, yeah.
I'm not.
You thought you were being sly.
Hey.
You fought.
Sorry, bro.
No.
I really like what Remender's done for some of the Marvel stuff. His Cap run is not one of my favorites, so I hope this new one gets better. I'll give it at least a couple issues. But this last arc was terrible.
Remender really needs to cut back on what he writes. When he writes too many things, stuff suffers.
Well, I think the entire pitch of the series was bad, so it didn't matter what came out. I didn't think it was going to be good, almost regardless.
Yeah, but then why fund it?
Well,
because they needed to have a Cap book for all new Marvel now.
yeah, I mean, Marvel gave them at least the run to do it, but obviously, this is
Some
part
ideas
of a
work.
big switch.
Some ideas don't.
Well, it sold really well for the first handful of issues, and then it just plummeted. But that's every book, really. So Falcon becoming Captain America was the least surprising thing because it had been telegraphed for months, and there had been blacked out images, and it was super obvious who it was going to be. But what I think is actually the biggest news of all, they got maybe the least coverage. Not Superior Iron Man, although that's part of the announcement. Iron Man is moving to San Francisco. Tom Taylor.
Is he going to hang out with Daredevil?
Tom Taylor and Yildiray Cinar, both creators for DC, are moving over to Marvel to work on... I don't know if Tom Taylor's leaving Earth 2. They haven't said anything about that. But they're going to be doing... Avengers Now. So, a new Avengers book, Avengers Now. I don't know who's actually doing Superior Iron Man. Is it Tom Taylor, too? I actually don't see the creative team listed here. Well, anyway.
Know, it just sounds super weird.
Yes, Iron Man's becoming super crazy Iron Man, Superior Iron Man, moving to San Francisco, going to try to take over the city, yada, 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 whatever. It's Iron Man, who cares? And he's got a new costume. But... to me, like I said,
Superior
he looks really lame, though.
Yeah,
he looks kind of like the White Vision from the West Coast Avengers.
Yeah,
is he going to have a
terrible.
claw on his foot?
I don't think so. But to me, what is actually the biggest news is Avengers Now. So much like the Marvel Now we had before, where they relaunched all these books, we have Avengers Now, where they're relaunching all the Avengers titles. And the people on the Avengers tell me if these guys all have kind of one thing in common. So we have
Find the common thread. Ready? Go.
So we have Thor. We have the female Thor.
Just say Thor X. And male Thor be Thor Y.
We have the female Thor. We have Falcon, Captain America. We have Iron Man, obviously still Tony Stark because Marvel's not suicidal. They also have on the team.
Sure about that.
On the team, we have Medusa, who's an Inhuman.
Yeah.
We have Scarlet Witch.
Maybe
who's a mutant. Well, yeah. Doctor Strange, Ant-Man, the Winter Soldier, Angela, who's apparently Thor's sister, Inferno from the Inhuman miniseries, and a new Deathlock on the team.
But Deathlock looks like the Shield Deathlock.
Yeah. Now, what do all of those characters have in common?
They're all in the movies and TV.
Yep. So, before when Marvel tried their, hey, we're going to make the Justice League Avengers with our most popular characters, like Wolverine and Spider-Man. Now they realize, fuck Wolverine and Spider-Man, unless we have the movie rights, we're not going to do anything with them. So we're going to have Ant-Man and Deathlock and Medusa in the Avengers. I don't know about this. I'm not saying it can't be a good book. The Avengers have had... Sorry, Toby. The Avengers have had worse lineups. Bronco Avengers. But,
hey, that was the next. Cersei is the bomb. Okay? Where's the night guy with the fucking flying horse? It's the bomb.
Toby,
Hawkeye is the bomb.
Okay,
when he was purple.
His favorite team is New Warriors.
Yeah, sure.
That's all you have to remember.
That's the bomb, too.
But of all of this is the most egregious pandering. Like this is the thing that actually kind of makes me.
I didn't know they could get. I didn't know it could be worse than Mighty Avengers.
Just roll my eyes.
I'm just waiting to see what the sales are like on issue 1 versus the sales on issue 2.
Oh yeah, sure. Now,
see, I don't care. You know how comic book fans are always looking for a way out.
Yeah.
I'm worried.
Well, so I like Tom.
I am worried.
Well, so here's the things. Yeah. I like Tom Taylor. The new Avengers books I have not enjoyed very much, so I'm excited for a change. I want this to be great. I question the character choices, but the given to Mattis Justice League is one of the best comics ever published, so stranger things have happened. This seems like a goofy team for the mainline Avengers, but what can you do? I'm sure it'll sell well for a couple issues, just like everything else. But I like the writer. I like the artist. Yildiray Cinar is awesome artist. So I
mean, Taylor's been doing a great job with Earth 2, and that has a decent catalog of characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, that credential for him is there. But again, it's how well is that team going to work in the Marvel Universe? I mean, because Jason Aaron's been doing a great job in Original Sin with throwing together kind of awkward
but that's
odd pairings.
Temporary.
No, but that's a temporary thing. But that's
and
the
that's
thing
not the Avengers.
Yeah.
My only problem with it is, like, when you think Avengers, you kind of think the Cap, Thor, Iron Man, but they're doing major shakeups with all three of them at once, so the core doesn't feel like it's got the same foundation that the Avengers normally have.
I mean, this could be confusing to people going, is this the regular Marvel Universe? Is this another alternate universe? I mean,
will not be so confusing when it happens in the movies.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is beyond, obviously, just trying to be the movies. So, there was a rumor today that they're talking about the change up to the Avengers roster in the movies for, like, basically Avengers 4. And, I'm wondering if this is maybe trying to seed those movies with, let's take other characters that we have coming up, put them in the comics, take those comics and adapt ideas from them into the movies like they've done with all these other books. So,
well, I'd be sold on it if they added Rocket Raccoon. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, there's no Guardian on here, so I'm actually kind of surprised with that. But, Angela, I guess. She's the Guardian of the Galaxy, right? So she's the closest we have.
So what you're trying to say is Angela can be classified as everything at this point.
Yeah. So is that thing with her being Thor's sister, is that from that Original Sin miniseries that they're doing? Okay, yeah, I totally didn't even...
Well, they did some promo stuff showing that before that series came out, but they finally explained...
Yeah, it was on
her backstory.
They had Loki and Thor and her on the cover of the last issue.
Yeah.
But was she Thor's sister in the Spawn book too?
No.
Well, no, I mean, but Thor is, it's public property, right? She could have been.
You're trying to flow logic where, like, what they've done is it basically wrapped in another world within whatever it's called, the tree.
The tree of life.
They added another part of the I know
another basically realm that they
the
completely
9 realms.
They cut off the 10th realm, and that's where Angela was. That got released essentially through the events in Age of Ultron.
So apparently, when you cut off limbs to this Marvel tree, they go to different comic book publishers.
Evidently.
Well, at least they're branching out.
Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Once the creators run away and they create a new realm,
and Jim Lee and all those image guys.
Yeah, the only two characters I really have issues with in this is Deathlock, because to me that just feels random as all hell.
Whenever Deathlock appears in any book, it's random as all hell.
Yeah, but especially now he looks like a beautiful human being instead of
the half-dead monster.
Yeah.
Well, the last Deathlock that I remember was the girl in the not Young Avengers, whatever, those crappy Avengers Arena and all those books.
Yeah. But the big one for me.
One?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
The big one for
Why
me.
didn't you stick
You missed
with
out,
that?
man.
That one didn't go as a princess.
The big one for me is Inferno. I mean, that to me is the
that book is dumb.
We're really pushing the Inhuman thing here. We're pushing this brand new character that's appeared in 2 issues to date.
That's okay. They're killing Wolverine, so they need somebody to.
Yeah.
They don't have a fire on the team, man. They need fire on the team.
That's Inferno.
Firestar.
He's all fiery.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Fire.
Sorry, she's a mutant, so she's off.
We're gonna have mutants.
Yeah, but didn't they essentially shoot themselves in the foot because they're not doing Fantastic Four anymore, so they can't get Johnny Storm, right?
Yeah.
Essentially, so.
Well, he's depowered now.
Yeah,
they depowered him again.
Oh God.
Yeah.
And he pissed off. And he apparently.
I can't wait for Marvel to get all the rights back so our comics could be normal
things
again.
Up majorly on the thing being cured, so the thing's all pissy about it.
You messed with the chair before I could get into it. Now I can't be normal.
Now
again.
I will go kill the puppet master.
Something like
Spoilers.
So I am more excited for these than what maybe kind of sound. But there's some interesting stuff in this. But as always, if you think this is continuous,
this is a permanent change.
No, because by the
Peter
time
Parker's
Avengers
never coming back.
Because by the time Avengers 3 comes out, we'll have all these guys back to normal. That's the way it works. Speaking of Avengers 3, we don't have a date for Avengers 3 yet. However, we have a whole bunch of date for Marvel movies. And there's rumors of even more being announced at Comic-Con. I think we talked about this last week. Something like up to like 12 or 13 movies could be talked about at Comic-Con.
Yes.
Yep.
So we have...
Get my Gambit movie.
Marvel released an upcoming schedule.
Not through Marvel.
Damn it.
Marvel released an upcoming schedule for movies due out in the next couple of years. We have August 1st, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Woohoo! Awesome.
May 2nd, 2015, Avengers Age of Ultron.
Awesome.
July 17th, 2015, Ant-Man.
Could be awesome.
May 6th, 2016, Captain America 3. Obviously no name yet, but... Then they went on and they said, here we have... obviously, these can always move. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 upcoming movies planned beyond Captain America 3. What they have set release dates for.
Shazam.
We don't know. This is Marvel.
This is,
We don't
Damn,
know what they
you're
are.
getting it all over the place. You're just naming characters that Marvel can't
Ninja
do.
Turtles.
I guarantee you, one of this will be
Shazam news that's stuck in his head right
one
now.
of these will be Shazam. Just DC or Warner Brothers to release it too. So we have July 8th, 2016, May 5th, July 28th, and November 3rd of 2017. July 6th, November 2nd, and May 3rd, 2019. Now, my
I might be an
assumption...
old fogey by then.
Well, my assumption here is May 5th, 2017 is Avengers 3.
Okay.
Because that's their big opening one, right?
Yeah.
So between Captain America 3 and that, we have July 8th, 2016.
But Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange is the one. I mean, Marvel people have been like, yeah, Doctor Strange movie that we haven't announced yet. It's totally happening. We just haven't announced it yet. So the question is, what goes beyond that? There's that July
Rocket
28th.
and Groot
Thor
solo
3.
film.
That's not going to
Thor
happen.
3.
Yes, it will.
No, it wouldn't, Toby. You want to know why? Because too much attention.
Still,
After
Guardians of the Galaxy 2 might...
Guardians
And then
2
there's
and Thor 3, I would say are almost definite.
Yeah.
I
Thor
would
3
say
is a definite. 'cause
How about Rocket and Groot and Ninja Turtles crossover? Yes.
that'd be a
Nice.
weird fucking looking movie.
It would be the best movie in the whole wide world.
Get
Adding-
Michael Bay to direct
Yeah,
it.
All
and
of a
adding some
sudden,
gremlins.
like-
Michael Bay, and you had some honeys in there too, and then some gremlins. Perfect
hell?
movie.
As long as it's a blonde. honey.
Somehow I'm starting to see Toby's mind just going like, I can make whatever fan film I want and just stick a date on it.
That's the way
And
to
a
do
hot
movies.
blonde chick.
So, I mean, there's been lots of rumors of other movies and other characters they want to use, but, I mean, we could get some announcements. We could get some at D23, which is the big Disney Expo next year. We're likely to get some stuff soon, but, yeah, past Thor 3, Guardians 2, which, I mean, those are, at this point, almost
it'll
confirmed.
probably be like Miss Marvel
No.
or Black
We'll
Panther.
see.
Black Widow, more likely.
Black Panther, they've been speculating for a while to do.
Yeah, Black
so
Panther.
one of
and-
them
Black
has to
Panther.
be Black Panther.
Black Panther been happening since Wesley Snipes doing Blade.
And Black
Yeah.
Widow has been long rumored as well.
Yeah, but there's a lot of reports suggesting that they're
Panther.
paying attention to Lucy right now to
Yeah.
determine whether or not Black Widow would work.
Oh, come on, just do it.
I've got a wild card for you guys.
Yeah,
Solo Winter Soldier movie.
Oh, please.
totally.
Please.
They did sign him up for like
Quite a bit of movies.
Yeah,
ton of movies.
yeah, Sebastian Stan. Yeah, he's been signed on for the next 4 movies.
Well,
I
yeah.
would like to see a...
Well, after Avengers 3, when Cap, Thor, and Iron Man aren't in it anymore, Angela, Falcon, and Winter Soldier take over the Avengers, right? I mean, this is what Avengers
yeah,
Now
but,
is
but
setting
who will
up.
be Cap? Was it be Falcon or Winter Soldier going to be
It'll
Cap?
be
No,
be Falcon, right? Falcon,
But
Winter
guess what?
Soldier,
Guess what?
and
When we get that Avengers movie, right?
Yeah.
And everyone wants to go back and read this Avengers Now stuff, it'll be out of print.
well, yeah, there's that.
No, but the most common thing wouldn't it be to make like the Bucky become
Right,
Cap, right?
Bucky Cap, yeah.
because Falcon will be still
The
around.
Brubaker story is really. I mean, that should be on.
Yeah, just
on
continue the
big
Brubaker
screen.
story. Yeah, both of those make sense. So,
Yeah.
we're going to have a whole lot of Marvel movies to go see. So
And a whole
That
lot
is
of DC.
And not enough money in our wallets.
yeah.
Yes, agreed.
We always make room for movies. There is one kind of last big, or two kind of last big stories here. Jeff Johns, head of DC
Retiring?
Entertainment, or
No.
Chief Creative Officer of DC
Are you
Entertainment.
getting tired of being wrong tonight, Toby?
Well, Omar's not here. I gotta stir something up.
Now, is DC actually moving?
Leave that shit for Bryce.
Is DC actually moving their bridge from New York over to the
What do you
West
mean?
Coast?
Jeff Johns is already in LA.
What?
No, because he's the chief creative officer. So I'm wondering if they're actually moving the bridge over.
What are you
His title
talking
sounds like
about?
it's on Star Trek or some shit.
What? Shut up. Move on. Go back. What are we? Go back.
Okay,
right,
let's
go
go
back.
back to the actual
Yeah,
story.
whatever.
Yeah,
let's
what happened? Sorry.
don't know
I
what you-
derailed it. Brock carried it on. My bad. My fault.
Let's rewind a minute here. Jeff Johns, the Chief Creative Officer of DC Entertainment,
Yes.
has announced, unfortunately,
Captain Cold is coming.
Well, he did not announce that. But
Oh.
Captain Cold has been cast for the Flash
Yeah.
TV show. That is correct.
Wentworth Miller.
But
He's going to break out of jail the whole time he's going to be on the show. Every time the Flash puts him in jail, he's going to break out.
yeah,
And that's already happened, by the way.
that's what the Rogues do.
If he doesn't have any ice puns, that would be great.
Ice to see you. The Ice Age. You know what killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age.
Wait, so what's happened with Jeff Johns?
So he has announced that the DC movies and the DC TV shows will be in their own continuities.
For once, Jeff Johns has lost some points with me.
So they are able to. Let me find the exact quote here.
Well, he's still a company man.
They can
either
tell
way.
the story that is best for film. You'll see a lot of DC characters, DC Universe characters on Flash and Arrow. This is from IGN. You won't see Batman or Superman. We're on production on Batman v Superman right now, so you'll see characters like Adam and Firestorm, but no Batman or Superman right now on TV. It's a separate universe than film, so the filmmakers can tell the story that's best for film, while we explore something different in a different corner of the DC universe. We knew this, but they've kind of finally. This is real confirmation of this, as far as I can tell. So, not unexpected, but
Until they change their mind.
yeah.
Until damn it, this
have
Flash
quite
story
a-
doesn't work.
They have quite a few years to change their minds, actually. I mean, the movie
Yeah, they
universes
do.
and the TV stuff is not coinciding right now, so...
Well, Jeff Johns also said that he would be very excited for a Shazam for a Shazam movie,
Yes.
which Dwayne The Rock Johnson
Fast and Furious, my man. Start watching that shit, Ryan.
seemed to accidentally confirmed that he is
Black Adam.
he is basically has been cast as I don't think Black
Captain
Adam.
Marvel?
No, he cast Captain Marvel, right?
Wow.
So, yeah,
That's weird.
yeah.
Scrawny little white kid turns into the Rock.
Wait.
I have a feeling that the kid
Wait,
is
does The
not
Rock
gonna-
actually have hair now?
You can
In some roles.
Yeah.
but the kid doesn't have to be white either.
Yeah.
So, there's a good chance that we could actually see this announced at Comic-Con this week. We don't know. There was, if you do remember, that rumored leak of all the upcoming movies that DC may be announcing. By the time you hear this podcast, DC may have already announced these, but that was Batman v Superman in May, Shazam July of next year, Sandman Christmas of next year, Justice League in 2017, Wonder Woman in 2017, Flash and Green Lantern, and Man of Steel 2. Flash, Green Lantern, Christmas 2017, and Man of Steel 2 in 2018.
Oh, that color coordinates so well.
I could see The Rock doing the Shazam just because he could do that kid-like thing in him, I think.
No, he fits the part
Yeah.
very well
Yeah.
if it comes down to it.
Yeah. I think he can do it.
And I think it's good that we've waited to have a Shazam movie, because knowing if we had one earlier, it probably would have been like Arnold Schwarzenegger or some shit.
Well, I just... For me, I keep thinking in terms of the Shazam movie being the one that's probably not going to be tied to the other movies.
Yeah, well, does Jordan Feige
I
think?
really think what's going to end up happening is I think they're going to propel the Shazam brand as sort of like their kids superhero movie.
Yeah, and I could see The Rock doing really, really, really well in
Because
that.
that Shazam backup story from Justice League, from the
Yeah.
New 52 stuff, I mean, you can definitely tone that down a little bit
Yeah.
for a more child audience and
Yeah.
and make it so that it is kind of that, story where,
Yeah.
kids can be like, oh my God, Shazam, he's just a little kid and blah 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 and all this stuff. So I mean, if you get a chance, the trade's out. Is the trade out?
Oh,
or is it
dude,
just
the
hardcover?
one by Jeff Smith is so awesome.
Oh yeah, the Justice.
Yeah,
League.
Justice
Smith
League
was
was
good.
good.
Justice
The one
was so
Johns
good.
did in the backup of Justice League was probably a little bit better.
What?
Notice how I said a little bit.
Okay, well, we can disagree on some points, but it was still good.
It's Johns.
Then there's the Mike Kunkel one that was really good too.
but
Is this where you get conflicted? It's Jeff or Jeff.
no, but I mean, the thing about the John Shazam for me is, while it was still very, very good, it didn't necessarily capture the same spirit of the Captain Marvel character for me up until that point, versus the
Which
Jeff Smith
Yeah,
one
the Jeff
is
Smith-
very much
well, the
for
Jeff Smith
the
one's the
celebration of old school Captain
The Monster
Marvel.
Society.
That one is
Right.
really, really good.
But I think
I was surprised.
But if you took, I mean, Johns did take it for the New 52 approach.
Oh, I know,
So that's where
and
the
I'm
difference
not.
is.
As I said, I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I totally think when they do the Shazam movie, that's going to be them going, okay, we have Batman and Superman in movies at this point that are not really for little kids. Like
Teen plus movies.
the way they've kind of reached things now with the Dark Knight movies is, I don't think they're looking to make a Batman movie to take like my sons to, really, which I'm definitely not complaining, because guess what? I have all that old stuff on DVD to show them. But
Well, and you have all this, great animation stuff that's coming.
Oh,
out.
yeah,
That's-
absolutely.
That's good for
It's
them.
totally
Yeah.
for kids.
Right.
well, it depends on the
Just showed him Adam West.
Let's
Adam
put
West
Hooker
Batman.
Yeah, I
Catwoman
know.
into the kids'
That'd be
side.
awesome.
But
Yeah.
DC's actually working more towards releasing the old animated stuff, like Batman
Yeah.
Adventures and all that stuff that we that we grew up with.
Yeah.
For this new generation.
But I'm just saying that at this point, I do feel like that's the one thing that they're yes, all their movies are targeted for me, and I celebrate them for that, because I love their movies.
Well, it's like you're finally giving me something after all of these years of
Yeah. But I think the Shazam character is the perfect character to sort of prop up as superheroes are hot. Kids love superheroes. We need to capture that
So
money also.
You know what this means, right? For just so everyone knows, this means that Charlie and Ryan possibly are going to go to every McDonald's to get each Marvel family character from the Happy Meals.
Marvel. Oh, Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Right? No,
Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Well, I'd have to get, except for Ryan, except for me, except for Jordan.
Well, we got a question here, and our guest Chris here can help us answer this question.
To the best of my knowledge, sure.
Because this person is from England and he's wondering if maybe this
Man,
is a cultural
I don't think
thing.
this is a targeted question. There's no way this is targeted. He did not read through these.
Just bullet.
The whole time during the podcast,
Yeah,
he's
he
going
was
through like the
scrolling
last
through the
3
list.
years
Yeah,
of emails.
sure.
No, this is an email we got 4 days ago.
Oh, okay.
This is from
Can somebody see the timestamp on that mail?
This is from Luke. He says, "Hey guys, I like Green Arrow as a character. I've picked up a couple of trades, but wondered if you had any suggestions on where to start and where to go from there. I always get disappointed when I go into comic shops because they don't seem to have many Green Arrow books, if any at all. Do you find he's not a popular character? I'm from England, so it could be a cultural thing. Maybe he's just not popular over here. Do you have any? Can you confirm or deny? Is Green Arrow popular in England?
I can confirm and something. I have 2 younger brothers. Out of all of us, Stefan, my youngest one, is in love with the character, right? When Arrow came on, he was the first one to see it. He was like, get out of my way, get out. We all love Green Arrow, right? And yeah, I have numerous friends even back home that like Green Arrow is a legit thing in England. And I don't know, maybe it's the resemblance to Robin Hood and all that. But
Don't you guys not like archers who can,
no, it's
I would think they love Archer. I mean, that would be the appeal of Green Arrow.
No, they look at him and go, that fake Archer. We got Robin fucking Hood.
He's
no.
not Robin Hood.
He's awesome. And to the best of my knowledge, the past 10 years of Green Arrow literally have been a good read.
Yeah,
I don't actually think
Well,
it depends on
if you take out the beginning of the New
52. Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to
then
say.
you're okay.
If you take out the first 2 trades of the New 52,
Yeah.
then it's fine.
The first 3.
The reason he hasn't found many Green Arrow trades is because there aren't many Green Arrow trades. 'Cause
Yes.
There's some phenomenal ones. I mean, you start
But-
with the Kevin
but
Smith
more
ones,
of
you
them
kind of
are-
move all the way up.
most of those are out of print,
They
and they're
are?
coming back into print. They're actually coming out with a deluxe size for the Kevin Smith one.
So,
Oh, really?
Oh, nice.
So-
I got to get my hands on one of those.
so there are. I'm gonna hold on. Let me look up the name of the other one.
Look, I mean, to me, the essential is the classic. The classic stuff that was really good, and then out of the newer stuff, which is the last 10 years, I liked it. It starts with Kevin Smith, all the way to what was it?
Brad Meltzer did some
Yeah,
of
the
it.
Brad Meltzer
Yeah.
stuff, the
Winnick did
Archer's
some.
Quest.
Winnick did some,
Oh.
and then Charlie really liked the stuff that was the Brightest Day
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, the brightest day stuff
And
was
then,
good.
There's some really good stuff though.
Lemire's stuff in the New 52 has been great, which is the trade you're looking for that everyone should is Volume 4, The Kill Machine. Or
And-
Oh, yes.
and
Yes,
the year one that's
Yeah, year
got a
one
lot
was
of
really
the
good.
stuff that's
so
really pulled into Arrow. So
if you want to go back to the early stuff, there's a couple places to start. Green Arrow Longbow Hunters was
Yes.
actually the very first
still need to read that
Green
one.
Arrow miniseries.
Oh, that was the one I was thinking about. Yeah.
Right, ever done. First time he ever had his own comic. First
Okay.
time his name was on a comic. That's by Mike Grell. That was the launch into the Green Arrow first ongoing series ever. Character was introduced in 1940, 1939. Didn't get his own series till 1987. So first time he appeared in his own series. Also by Mike Grell. That is called Hunter's Moon. I believe that's still the current trade name here. Those are both very good. They just solicited the second volume of that original series, so that's going to be coming out soon. All the Kevin Smith stuff, all the Brad Meltzer stuff is out of print.
but the Kevin Smith stuff's coming back into print with the deluxe size.
Right. So his entire run is being recollected into one hardcover. I have to assume they're going to do the same with the Brad Meltzer stuff.
And
They
the
have
Winnick-
to.
They
I mean, it's
have to
all
at
in a
this point
row.
because Arrow's getting way too much traffic.
Yeah.
Oh,
The
yeah.
Judd Winnick stuff, maybe.
Really?
Maybe. At least the Kevin Smith. So Kevin Smith started the new series in like 03, 02, 03, something
Yeah.
like
That
that.
sounds
Yeah.
right. It was like Rebirth before Rebirth. In a
Yeah,
way.
it was. It was. Then Brad Meltzer took over for an arc or two, and then Judd Winnick did it for a few years, and then it kind of went off the rails. But
His second arc, though, the Brad Meltzer one, was so good.
it was.
Oh my
it was.
god.
So those when those come out in collection, the hardcover for the Kevin Smith stuff should be this year. It's going to be in the next few months.
Well, it was already solicited, so it's got to be.
It's going to be soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Volume 4 of the current series, which is The Kill Machine, which is the brand new, completely new arc, Jeff Lemire and Andrea Sorrentino. You could start there. You don't have to read anything else. You could, again, if you just want to start there. Now, they are
we
announcing...
suggest you start there.
Well, right. They are leaving the book. They're, the new creative team is actually the people that run the Arrow TV show. The writers and producers on Arrow are taking over. So I'm hoping that's good. The stuff they're doing now is awesome. I know the sales haven't been the best, but...
Now, for those of you who are getting that Volume 4 trade and it freaks you out that you don't have 1, 2, and 3, just take a sticker and
you don't,
cover up the 4.
Yeah, you don't want it. You don't want it.
Just cover it up. Just
You can even write a number 1 on it if you want.
yes, this is true.
I've only personally read like the first 2 issues of that, and then immediately I was like, nope.
Yeah. I got like almost the entire way through, and I was like, "This is the worst."
Yeah, I
and
read,
then
like,
the
the
new
first
stuff.
arc, and I was
yeah.
like,
I was like, "Oh, great." Well, we got a couple questions here. Let's read a few here.
Twitter
From
questions.
Twitter. It's from Luke,
Hello,
who asks, "Do you find the digital comics are overpriced? Volumes on Comixology seem priced a lot higher than the physical versions on Amazon." And I'm assuming he's talking the trade paperbacks because Comixology have a lot of trade paperbacks now.
Yeah.
On Twitter a few days ago, me and him had a nice conversation about this, but he wanted to know your guys' opinion as well. So, opinionize.
I mean
Yes.
the digital comics. Like, are we talking trades or single issues? What's the?
Either way, the answer is
He's
yes.
saying trades, but either way.
I mean, oh yes, digital comics are overpriced. I mean, they drop in price, for certain things faster than others, and yes, they do have a lot of sales. But I mean, for what you're actually getting, which is just the ability to rent something whenever you want, it's a little overpriced. And then the trades, they fluctuate like there's no tomorrow with the price. Sometimes, like I've seen stuff on Amazon that's more expensive than Comixology, and then I've seen things on Comixology that's more expensive on Amazon. So it kind of goes back and forth. So I mean, I don't really buy anything digitally. But I know that, Batman and the Outsiders have started to come out, and I'm like, ooh, and I'm sitting there pulling a Charlie going, I'm just going to look for a sale. So,
No, my general sense of it is, and yes, I know Ryan and I have had so many conversations about this over the years now, But when I'm buying something online, like I'm going online to purchase something, and you're trying to sell me the digital-only version, and it doesn't matter if it's a movie, it doesn't matter if it's a comic book, they don't really, like when they're released officially through iTunes or whatever, they seem to kind of ignore what would be considered the market for said item when they're selling to you digitally. They don't sort of like go in there and go, well, how much is the pre-order for this going for on Amazon? And you get it with free shipping and you get the physical book, or you get the, like, how many places have sales on Blu-rays and DVDs the week they come out through Best Buy or Target that come with the digital copy that become cheaper than buying just the digital copy.
Or you're spending maybe $2 more for a physical copy and you get the physical Blu-ray, DVD, and a digital code.
And like to me, that's where like this whole thing kind of breaks down, where they kind of have this sort of like set price. If we're selling it digitally, we're only willing to do this. But if we're selling the physical copy, you can do whatever you want to stay competitive. And
that is exactly why. Yeah. Because if the company puts out their own digital copy cheap, that is the company dictating price. Retailers are allowed as a third party to do whatever they want, and that's why it happens.
And as I said, that leads to really overpriced digital media.
Sure, it does.
Yeah, but then why would you... Okay, you have this product, right? And you kind of advertise it. Okay, you can buy this trade that you can hold physically in your hand, and here's a code for the digital stuff for it. Why wouldn't you just, like, as immediately as you got the trade in your hand, you just take off the code and just, like, resell the trade?
And
people do that.
That's exactly what a bunch of people do. There are people who, like, I'm a big fan of buying the digital combo packs of books, and what I do is I read it once physically, I cash in the digital code, and then I store it in a short box or whatever to basically never go back to, because if I feel like reading it again, I will just read my digital copy, because that's easier to get to
or
at that point.
Or your really nice hardcover.
Yeah, or my really nice hardcover. But there's tons of auctions that go up all the time of, I have this digital code for this comic that you can buy for a couple bucks on eBay.
Yeah, I mean, you can $1, $2, like day of a book coming out, you'll see codes going up for $1, $2, and people buy them because why am I going to spend $4 to get?
For the guy that buys the physical one, he bought a $4 comic and sold $2 worth of it, so it cut his price in half. Mm-hmm. The digital guy gets their comic for half price. So, but it's time and energy.
That's again where, like, for me, where the market for the digital media is not adapting to the market around it. Like, they're not looking at it and going, well, you see, people are buying these digital copies on eBay for half the price we're selling it for. Like, there's no...
But I'll tell you why. Because if the companies put them out cheap, comic, DVD, CD, doesn't matter what it is, retailers would revolt. Well, this doesn't happen so much for CDs because the retailers all went away. But comics and definitely movies, retailers would revolt. Best Buy, Target, those places will stop carrying your DVDs if they feel that the company is undercutting them. Comic stores would freak out if Marvel and the DC started selling their books at launch cheaper than we had them for.
And and this is where, for me, just, I logically understand it from a retailer's perspective, but from a consumer perspective, I will never really be able to get on board with it.
Sure, but you're not supposed to. That's the problem.
Well, but the retailer should also carry the things, though. There's multiple times now I go to Best Buy and only you have the new releases.
Right.
Or from Black Season 2 on Blu-ray, which was last Tuesday, new release. Thank you for reminding me that came out, Charlie. I went and looked online. First of all, it's not available but 2 stores in this entire area. The entire area. And then I went to that store that supposedly had it, and they didn't even have it in the stock. And I had to send me to one that, like another one altogether. I was like, on a new release, that shouldn't be the case. I know that maybe Orphan Black, not a popular show here in the U.S., but a new release shouldn't be that hard to go buy. I should be able to walk in the store and buy it.
It's fairly popular here. I mean, it's like the number 2 BBC America show.
I don't think they even ordered enough Blu-rays for it.
Well, no. I mean, the retailers have gotten to the point where Even big releases, they're ordering sparingly.
Well, like Thor, I had difficulty getting the 3D Thor 2 for the 3D. Like, I went to Best Buy and like, oh yeah, we sold out, but we got a ton of these other crappy ones that you don't want. And I'm like, why didn't you? Never mind. And I left, and I literally went on Amazon and ordered it off of Amazon because I was like, whatever, I'll get it in a couple of days. I don't care.
Yeah, but I guess my mentality on a lot of this kind of stuff is. I guess my final mentality on this is, what if it wasn't available day of digitally cheaper? What if
they do. That's why they do sales.
Well, no, but what I mean is, what if they didn't put out the comic day of when it first shows up in the comic shop? What if they waited a month, but when it came out digitally, it was priced more competitively?
That's what people have suggested, and then people said, no, we want it day of.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
it kills me.
The other stuff that kind of
that's the answer to the question. It kills me.
What I find funny though is like you go to rent a movie like on Comcast or on DirecTV and all that stuff, and movie rentals now are almost $7-8 or like $5 to $8.
It can vary a little bit. I don't tend to do it because.
But that's the thing. It's like $5 to $8 to rent this for a one-time.
Wait, what? You're renting movies for $5-8? Are you serious?
Well, no. You can do this through your cable provider.
Like Comcast, a lot of times will get something early on demand. And
okay. I was going to say, if you're renting movies right now for $5-8, so it got something to tell you.
But that's the thing.
There's something called Netflix for $8 a month.
I know. Yeah. But you have these. You're renting these for $5, and they're doing it like.
Well, that's for comfort. I mean, that's for lazy people. I mean, I go down to the Redbox and rent something for $1.
Yeah.
No, that's for people with children who play with the remote.
Yeah.
Oh, ouch.
Yeah, I don't know.
We got 2 more questions here, then I'm going to wrap up. One is from Brock.
From Brock or for Brock?
For Brock. It's from Alex.
You writing your own questions?
Oh, shoot.
He says, question for Brock.
Uh-oh.
What's the most efficient and cost-effective way to package and ship comics?
Oh, shit.
That's your job here, so how do you do it?
Well, it varies on what you're trying to ship. I mean, shipping like one single issue, like it's a variant cover or something, you want to put it in, at least a bag and a board, and then put as many boards in as you can to kind of make it as sturdy as possible. I mean, there's nothing you can do to protect it from idiots, because even you can put it in a steel case, padded, all this stuff. What are the Pelican boxes? Those things.
If you're shipping stuff out in Pelican boxes, Brock, again, I have something to tell you.
I know. But, I mean, you just have to do it the best of your business. Like, when I ship, the best thing is like if you're actually getting to ship comic books and you have to put them in a box, the best bet is to kind of bundle them as best as possible, and also flip them. So if you're shipping, let's say, 20 books, take 10 and 10 and then have them kind of face each other. So that way the spines, the spines are off.
Yeah.
And then, package as best you can around it with, don't use like bubble, like the inflatable little bubble things that you get from Amazon. No, the Amazon, this little package of air. Yeah, the balloon.
We have a couple different methods. We have just a standard manila, like bubble mailer, which is like you just secure a packet in there, throw it in there. Make sure all 4 corners are not open.
Yeah, make sure there's nothing on the edges. I've packaged stuff to the best of my abilities, and the post office still manages to mangle it to high hell. You want to make sure there's enough space, especially if you're packing in boxes, around the whole thing.
Right.
Because it doesn't need to be the equal amount on either side, but you need to have enough space so that there's kind of a cushion, so to speak.
Do you mark some of them as fragile? I'm just curious.
I've actually been into talked to enough postal people that they actually don't give a rat's ass what you fucking write on the package. Because I've shipped I shipped magic cards, right? Real simple way to do it. You take the 99-cent sleeve, you stick it in there. You take half of a comic book board, fold, cut it in half, or comic book board cut in half, fold that half in half, and then you tape the card in the plastic like you get a sticker from the tattoo or sticker machine, like at the grocery store or whatever. And then I would take the invoice and wrap it around it, and then put it in a regular small envelope, right? And then I would basically pay the whatever postage was, and add an extra 20 cents because I don't want it to go through the machine right, when it's processed. Because when it goes through the machine, it bends. And I don't want the card to actually bend. And I write do not bend on it, and people are like, yeah, they don't care. Like, they're like, whatever, it doesn't matter. I mean, UPS is hilarious because we watch them almost every time they drop stuff off, and it's like
it's
a
terrible.
big, huge arrow is pointing up, and they put it on the side, or they throw it upside down, or, you know, they don't pay attention to any of that shit. The only time I think they'll pay attention is if you actually pay for it. If it's like
They still don't care.
like, but they still don't care. Like, I think Florida is one of the worst places to ship to in the United States. From all the shit selling I've done on eBay, like every single person from Florida is like, "Can you please package this as securely as possible?" And I'm like, "I'll try my best, but I can't promise anything." But apparently, every postal worker in Florida is Ace Ventura. So,
I believe it.
yeah, I mean, do your best, but I mean, that's basically how it has to go.
All right, we got one.
And my solution is give it to Brock.
We have one
Great.
quick last one here. We got to wrap up here, but I like this question, so let's do this. I was like ranking crap. This is Andrew on Twitter says
Ranking crap, and we don't even have Bryce on?
Rate DC. Well, it's a DC question.
Oh, okay.
Rate DC's weeklies from past decade from best to worst. The reason I ask, I'm really enjoying Eternal thus far. I won't say Eternal and Future's End are the best of the worst because they're not over yet. But for me, it would be 52 by far and away.
Yeah, the top.
Number one. We'll go around the table. So, Eternal and Future's End, I'll put in the middle right now because they're not done. Mm-hmm. So I can't really make a decision, but they're good so far. What I've read of them. Then Countdown, and then at the very bottom, Trinity.
Oh, you said it.
At the very bottom.
You should have just not even included it.
What'd you put at the bottom?
Trinity.
Why, you like that?
I assume everyone's list is going to be the exact same as mine.
Well, it's I think Future's End right now, because I got caught up finally. I mean, I read like 6 issues of each one, sitting in the ER room of the hospital where they're going to name it after our family or whatever. But I plowed through Future's End and Batman Eternal, and I really enjoy Batman Eternal. It's the artwork that's sometimes the hard, jarring part of that title.
I could see that, especially one issue where Jason
the Scorpion
Todd
one
just killed me.
Yeah, the Scorpion Lady one, right? Yeah, okay. But Future's End really suffers from what happened with Countdown, where there's a lot of stories going on, and you're not seeing every story in every issue, so you kind of miss out. So like New 52, the Future's End stories, I think people really need to read more in chunks.
So for me, I love Batman Eternal since I'm a story guy. So yes, I can
You
put
also
up
love
with some
Future's
really...
End because of Batman Beyond.
Well, Future's End, I like still, but the problem is because of the general premise of it, I'm kind of having trouble caring about what's happening in general. Like, there's no... During 52, I cared about what was happening because this was completely within continuity. It was filling in the year gap. It was very much sort of central towards loved the question, loved everything they were doing with the question.
Well, it was what, Johns, Morrison, and
it was.
And who else was on that?
On 52?
Is it just Johns and Morrison?
No, 52 was
Rucka in there?
was Greg Rucka,
Yeah, Rucka was
Mark
in there.
Wade.
Johns,
Morrison.
Yeah. Any event, really kind of felt like what was happening had effects and mattered and all that, where the premise of Future's End feels like a mini series to me. It's not, and it's a mini series that I kind of feel like the more I get into it, the more it's like, yeah, I'm not even convinced that any of this is going to quote unquote happen, because the general premise of even where things start when time would technically be changed doesn't feel like that would actually happen, meaning everything's going to get wiped out from it.
Do you get a Rot World feeling at times?
Yeah.
When reading it, because that's what happens when I read it. It's like I care about some of the stories and some of the characters that we're following, but at other times I'm just like, why am I even following this person? And then they've introduced a couple new stories, and it's like, where is this coming from?
It's not giving you enough room to breathe.
Versus Batman Eternal, completely within current continuity. It's setting up the new Batman sidekick. It's bringing back Stephanie. It has some really interesting stuff going on with Gordon and his son. And there's so many aspects of what I love about Batman and what they've been doing with Batman in that book that I personally think they're doing a really good job,
Well,
especially for our weekly.
And we had talked about, issue 27 of Batman, where they kind of did that flash forward and stuff, and this is kind of stuff that's building up to that, and you're kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen? So, I mean, you have kind of a good, solid goal in mind with that title. But, like, Countdown, I don't know, it's just too much in Countdown.
Oh, I personally really like Countdown, but I was reading the Fourth World Omnibuses as that was coming out, and that actually helped quite a bit.
But if you want to get into a lot of random DC characters, read 52.
Chris, have you read some of these?
I've only read Eternal and Future's End, so...
Like them enough?
My problem with Eternal really is the fact that I kind of try. I had to literally try, mostly because I was finishing off Sandman, the omnibus. So, it's fairly kind of like convoluted to read and all that. And just like I came back into this and it's already so fourth heavy. And I was like, I literally needed like some time to stop in between it. So I kind of understand your point, Brock. It's not giving you enough time to breathe, especially if you come back to it like from a previous version of a book that you read that's really convoluted. So, yeah, that's all I can say about that, to be honest.
Okay.
Damn, no question from Mitchell. Lazy bastard.
Well, we're going to go ahead and wrap up. Thank you for joining us and coming all the way out here.
No, thank you guys for being awesome.
I hope it wasn't as terrible as you hoped.
Nah.
Dude, you so need to post the reactions that your family has to this.
Oh, God, if I do that.
Yeah, you said a bunch of people listen to this podcast. So
yeah, they do.
You.
It's mostly because I kind of shoved them to it.
So thank you to your entire family for listening to this podcast. That's awesome.
You're welcome.
Waiting for more of them to start showing up in the shop going well, you let him on, now I want to...
Well, no, are they going to all be in awe? They were like, yeah, when you announce you're going to go visit the store and see what's up, and then you're going to be on it, they were like...
The funny thing, most of them saw the picture that I tweeted at you yesterday.
Yeah.
Which has the bag and the comics that I bought, and they were like, "Oh, okay, that's awesome!" Subscribe, the stuff like that, on social media and stuff. They didn't know I was coming back today, so I'm really, really kind of
well, don't tell him. Just surprise him.
I'll probably get punched in the face by one of my brothers when I go back. Just you bastard! You went there and didn't take me with you.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, we're gonna wrap up now.
We do like family violence.
We're gonna plug some stuff here. So you can listen to this episode and all our previous episodes at geekbox.net and comicsconspiracy.biz occasionally. I usually upload 6 at a time to there, so it's fine. It's all fun.
It's just like reading Futures End. Just read them 6 at a time.
Yeah. Go to Geekbox forums at geekbox.net to discuss this episode, or the Geekbox Facebook group. It's all on there. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. Go on there, and you can buy some digital comics if you like them and you think they're not too overpriced. Or even if you think they're overpriced.
Or if you see Ryan Higgins tweet a really bitchin' sale.
You could still buy them because they're always on sale. We have a bunch of other stuff we got. Brock's got conspiratobrock.com, and Charlie's got the Infinite Longbox podcast and the Wanderers in Fourth Dimension podcast, which I hear he's recording a new episode later tonight.
Yep.
So go do that thing.
Because you had a wedding to go to.
We're all on Twitter. I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Toby's Toby XI. Charlie's Insanity and Chaos. Chris, do you have a Twitter or do you have things you want to plug of any sort? Or?
I don't. Maybe you can go at YouTube/GraphRoomArgo, which is my Twitter handle as well.
Okay.
I occasionally post stuff. I did a couple of Let's Plays of games and stuff, but mostly I'm using that now as an online portfolio for some of the videos that I shoot.
Okay.
Maybe you can go see some of that in the future.
What's the page again? What's it called?
It's GraphRoomArgo, spelled as GRAFIMAGO.
Okay.
So pretty much like it sounds.
Yeah, pretty much.
Just want to confirm.
Ryan just doesn't know how to spell.
I don't. I can't read or write.
Me neither, actually. So I'm in the same boat.
Anybody you want to say hi to? Anybody you want to apologize to? Any thing you want to...
Nah, screw 'em.
Want to absolve your sins of on this podcast?
Not particularly, no, but thank you, Brock.
Well, if you listen to this podcast, you should also listen to the Geek Box, which I'm on every week. Well, almost every week. We talk about a bunch of nerd shit. Comedy Button, Good Job Brain, and our community podcast, All Talk. So go listen to all those as well. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chris. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for everything.
And then don't forget, next week is book club, right?
No,
book
2
club.
weeks.
Is it 2 weeks or is it 1 week?
It is next week. No, I'm sorry. It is
There's no
next
way
week.
in hell I'm going
There's
to read
no
it
way you
before
guys are
next
going to do
week.
Comic-Con
Yeah,
and book
That-
club.
no
Okay,
way.
Brock, we're moving it the week after because next week's Comic-Con
that's
week.
fine, okay.
So
Yeah, there's no way. I'm
Yeah,
leaving tomorrow night. Fuck no, I'm not
It's
going to read
okay.
that shit.
I will have read it.
yeah, we will move Brock's
Charlie
pick.
and I will have a podcast on our own to discuss it the week
That's
of.
fine.
We'll move Brock's pick to the 4th. I wasn't even thinking next week is Comic-Con. Yeah, we're not going to do it next week. So, Dead Body Road, Image
Dead
Comic.
Body Road by Justin Jordan.
Yeah,
And we
that'll
still
be
have
2
two
weeks.
copies here.
Yeah, 2 weeks we'll discuss that. So, yeah, next week is all San Diego talk. So, assuming Toby makes it back. You're going to make it back on Monday, right? More than likely.
That's all sure.
Last year was hilarious because wasn't he so fucking dead
Yeah.
tired? That,
No,
like,
I think that was the year before.
last
Not to
year.
mention I wasn't back yet
Yeah.
last year.
What happened to you? Oh, you went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, it was after Disneyland, but still, I did not rush home, if I recall. Either way, I wasn't on.
Well,
that.
I'm coming back on Monday this year because I think I'm driving, actually. So I'm not entirely sure when I'm going to be back.
Well, we'll figure something out. We'll figure it out.
Holy crap! Are we gonna just have a podcast with you and me next week?
I'm still going to be
Yeah,
here.
dude.
Oh, you are?
Yeah.
Bring You're trying to get me on
Bring
the
it back
podcast.
like to the early episodes,
Comes
Ryan.
out.
And Bryce isn't going. Toby's not.
Omar's not
Omar's
going?
so, yeah.
I'm the only one. I'm a lone warrior at it.
Well,
You're gonna
we'll
hopefully
catch,
you survive.
Yeah.
we will catch everyone next week post Comic Con.